This video is on cumulative data or cumulative frequency data. Sometimes it's useful to know the number or proportion of scores that lie above or below a particular value. To determine this, we can construct a cumulative frequency table and then draw a cumulative frequency graph to be able to find out some of this information. This example, we have a table that summarises the weights of 80 male basketball players. First of all, I want to add a cumulative frequency column to the table. So nice and easy here, I'm just going to add a column to my table here. And we're going to call it CF for cumulative frequency. Now to create the cumulative frequency column, all we need to do is accumulate all the frequencies. It's that simple. Start at the top, our first frequency is 3, so that's going to stay the same. But to then make the next number in the cumulative frequency table, we just add the next number. So we're going to add the 8 on, so 3 plus 8 is 11. Our next number in our frequency table is 16, so then we add the 16, which gives us 27. So we've got 11, then we add 16, and we get 27. Then we keep on doing that for the rest of the table. So next we add on 21, which would give us 48. We then add on 19, which gives us 67. Then add on 8, which is 75. Add on 3, 78. Add on 1, 79. And add on the last one, which is 80. The last value in our cumulative frequency should add up to the total amount of players that we started with, which was 80. Next, we want to draw the cumulative frequency graph for the data. So I've already drawn some axes up here. Now the question is as to where we plot the cumulative frequency values. And what we do is we actually plot them at the second number. So the first weight is between 70 and 75. At 70, we will start at 0, because at 70, to start off with, at 70, we had nobody, 0 frequency. So we're going to plot 70 is going to be our starting weight. That always starts at 0. The 3 cumulative frequency that I've just circled here, we plot at the second value in the class interval. So that is going to be plotted at the 75. So we always plot our cumulative frequency value at the last number because we have 3 people in the 70 to 75 range. So by the time we get to 75, we know we have exactly 3 people in that section, which is why we plot it there. So at 75, we have 3. For the second class interval, our cumulative frequency was 11, so we're going to plot that at the 80. So remember, always the second value of the class interval is where we plot the cumulative frequency value. So at 80, we will be plotting 11. And we do that for the rest of them. So our next cumulative frequency value was at 27, so that's going to go at 85. And I'm going to plot the rest of those now. So there we are, I've plotted all the values, and from there we create the cumulative frequency curve, and it's a curve, and we start at bottom. We want to make this curve all the way through all the values. And you'll see a cumulative frequency curve generally will always have that type of S shape to it. All right, part C. Use your graph to estimate the median. The median we know is the middle. With a cumulative frequency graph, everything is an estimate, so we don't need to worry about finding the position, because with 80 data points, the position would normally be between the 40th and 41st person. But with a cumulative frequency graph, because it's an estimate, we're reading off a curve, we just go exactly halfway with the frequency. So we had 80 in total, which means to estimate the median, we're just going to go to our frequency of 40, and we just read across. So we go across from the y-axis to our curve, and then we read down from there. And we make just a good estimate based on what we see with our graph as to where it is. So here I'm going to say that my estimate of the median is about 88 kilos. In an exam situation, if you had to draw your own cumulative frequency curve and then estimate, there would be a leeway of values that you would be allowed to get the answer correct. If you were given a cumulative frequency graph in an exam, majority of the time you would be looking for an exact number, and it would be very clear as to what that value is. Okay, C part 2, the number of men weighing less than 83 kilos. So I want to know how many are less than 83. So we're going to go to our x-axis to 83 kilos, which will be about here. And I'm going to draw up in blue to the line there, and then across, and I get a value of about 20. So we'll be estimating that about 20 people will be weighing less than 83 kilos. Part 3, number of men weighing more than 92. So we're going to go to our x-axis because that is our kilos. And we want 92. We go up to there. Reading up and across for this one, and I'm going to say that's about 56. But with this question, what's the number of men weighing more than 92? So at 56, that's how many people weigh less than 92 kilos would be 56. But we want how many are above the 56. Now we have 80 in total, so if we just need to do 80 minus the 56, which gives us 24. So we'll be estimating that 24 people weigh more than 92 kilos. And the last part is the 85th percentile, which means we want to know what value, what weight is 85% of the way through the data. We have 80 in total, so we need to find 85% of 80, which is 68. And now we can read off at our frequency of 68 to work out what weight that is. So 68 will be roughly about there. Read across, and then down. And in this situation then, that will be about 95, 96 kilos. So just make your best guess based on your cumulative frequency graph. And that is cumulative frequency.